what if I don't get better? Or not all the way better? Or maybe the doctor injects me with some kind of serum, and then I get all buff, and then I'm forced to fight Soviets? And then in some twist of fate, I end up frozen in the bottom of the ocean and wake up decades later to find you dead.
Soviets?
That's what you take away from that?
Soviets?
Or Nazis, or some other kind of conspiracy group?
Sorry, I'm still hung up on Soviets. You do know they're not around anymore.
Hey, neither are Nazis, supposedly.
What would these hypothetical Nazis want with you anyway?
After what you and I did in Germany?
You and I remember Germany very differently.
And how are we doing today, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor?
Well, I think I'm doing great, but Victoria here thinks differently.
You can say you're fine, but you're not actually fine.
If I'm fine, then how the hell do you think I keep saying I'm not? I come up with 1,000 different ways and to say the same thing.
Exactly, that's the problem.
What's the medical issue here?
Well, Dr. Baker, it all started a few weeks ago. He was such a great person, funny, creative, a fun guy. But then he just started to go places mentally that didn't make sense. Like, you knew where he was coming from, but it just got weird or boring. Or he was trying to be funny, but it just didn't come across.
Well, Mr. Thomas, how do you feel about this?
I don't know where she's coming from. I think I'm doing just fine. I mean, I'm not quite as popular with my friends anymore, but I figure if I keep on keeping on, I'll be great.
Oh dear, I think I can tell what happened here.
You do?
But there's nothing wrong with me.
Well, unfortunately, that's not true. See, from the information I've gathered here, and of course we'll have to run a few more tests, but I'm pretty positive that you've gotten sequelitis.
Sequelitis?
Yeah, sequelitis. You see, it's a terrible disease. I'm very sorry.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. You see, it's been rampaging for the last few decades, and it's been very, very dangerous, and no one knows why.
Maybe it's not sequelitis. Maybe it's polio.
Yeah!
Well, I'm afraid it's not. You see, from what you've been telling me, your husband here, he's used to be this great guy that you could love with all your heart and your soul, and then he just slowly grew worse and worse. He became doing the same thing over and over again, punching out the same kind of material with the same kind of shtick, and he slowly absorbed into this random slab of blah.
Hey!
Am I correct?
Yes, he's right here.
I'm very sorry. Maybe I can tell you something else. Let me check my clipboard real fast. You might have a cure. Is that a cure? No, that's not a cure. Alright, almost there. Alright, well, it still might be alright. You see, it all depends on when he caught it and what kind of stage you were in. Now tell me, have you run into any random trains of illogical thought just to keep the same material while also just trying to recapture your popularity?
No.
Earlier, he thought you were going to inject him with a serum to fight Soviets.
Huh.
Oh, come on. That's totally possible.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't have that kind of serum. You see, has he moved on to, say, talking about aliens or
no.
space?
Thank God.
Space?
That's pretty cool. Alright, well, at least you haven't reached stage 3 sequelitis. That'd be the worst. You see, in stage 3 sequelitis, you hit the horror movie stage.
Horror movie stage?
Yes. You see, alright, for example, try counting the amount of Freddy Krueger or Saw movies there are. Exactly.
Brad, I told you you need to make a change. I wouldn't be surprised if this had something to do with your parents growing up.
Oh, God, here we go again.
Very interested. Tell me, Miss Tululu, what exactly are you talking about?
I just think that it's important to know where I'm coming from.
Oh. Now tell me, politically speaking, do you find that the Senate or some kind of other bodily figure ran your childhood?
Of course. They pretty much affected everything.
Oh, Jesus.
What?
Man, I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say this, but I think you've acquired prequelitis. Prequelitis. I'm very sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Tantam.
Taylor!
Right, Taylor. It just seems that prequelitis, it happens horribly. It's an even, I mean, it's not surprising that we didn't catch this earlier, because it's a very sneaky disease, especially when it's on your late stages, which I predict you are. You see, it tends to be very sneakily come across like the Phantom Menace, for example.
Oh, no!
That's what we all said. It's an even more recent phenomenon than sequelitis. It's right here on my clipboard. It says that when you feel like you have to justify and explain your actions, specifically by telling stories about how you grew up or just an early stage of yes, people are interested to learn more about you, but you can only say about your childhood and teenage years or whatever for so long before they just stop listening. You just really don't care where you came from, and a short sentence will suffice and just move on.
No, God, no!
See, I told you, no one else cares!
Unfortunately, there's no way to erase the conditions. However, there is one cure that is completely effective.
Well,
What is it?
Right here it says it's the cure for sequelitis and prequelitis is new thoughts and original ideas. Yes.
original ideas?
This isn't possible. We could always try another solution that I have.
We'll try anything.
Alright, well, let's go to here, because recently it's become very popular is this particular book. It's called Reboot.
Reboot?
Reboot, it changes you how you are very slightly, and it changes the way people view you a little bit. However, it'll change forever. So, are you guys interested?
Yeah.
To be sure, to reiterate, it's very dangerous. You can't take it wrong or else things will go horribly, horribly atrocious.
We're sure.
Oh, here you go. Now, just make sure not to take it away, or make sure you take it at home, actually, so that no outside influences can affect you. Before you leave, oh, let me give you my card. Here's my card. Here it is. All right. If anything goes wrong, are there any issues, go ahead and give me a call. Anything else? So, I guess you'll have a good day, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor? Yes, this is Dr. Baker. I'm sorry, but you must have just recently gotten into your car. What? Wait. Hard shells? Sudden martial arts? A giant rat? And a sudden attraction of Megan Fox? Oh, shit.